Okay, listen up, people, because this is getting worrying. As if it were not enough, as if it were not damning enough for the royal family that Prince Harry brought out his reveal-all memoir. Spare. I'm sure you all remember it. And then the threats, no matter how empty they may be, that he has enough material to bring out another 500-page memoir. That's 2 memoirs. Now, according to express.co.uk, Meghan Markle, Prince Harry's Instagram-loving bitch wife, is planning to bring out her own memoir. That's 3 memoirs. 3 memoirs. That's too many memoirs. Trop de memoirs. Now, and let's take this with a pinch of salt because it's just allegedly, but express.co.uk, according to express.co.uk, Meghan Markle's memoir is to focus on confronting the royal family at the coronation, which famously has not happened yet. So according to express.co.uk, that's important. This isn't me saying this, okay, Meghan's lawyers. But according to express.co.uk, Meghan's going to write a book about a controversy which has not occurred yet. Now, is that a little far-fetched? I wouldn't put anything past that little vixen. The question everyone is asking themselves, however, is what is the appropriate response from the palace?
What am I going to do with him?
He'd make a very handsome throw rug.
Zazu.
Everyone's always talking about stripping him of titles and all this kind of thing and reacting. I am of the opinion that the best thing is what they always do. Never complain, never explain. Much classier. What would it achieve, reacting? I mean, these people are so desperate, it seems that they're about to write a memoir, a memory of something that hasn't happened yet, because that's their only currency. That's their only way of making a living, right? They're going to sell a memoir. They're planning to make a memoir about something, about a controversial situation that might happen in the future or might not at the coronation, at King Charles's coronation. I mean, we had the 6-part Netflix documentary which revealed nothing. Then we had a 500-page memoir by Harry which revealed nothing of any substance. This will be nothing. So what do you want? You want the royal family to create a Minority Report style scenario where they send time cops into the future to prevent her from inventing more shit to sell to Netflix and to Penguin Random House? I mean, what do you want? It's not going to achieve anything. And as for the rest of us, I think we should all take it with a bit of humour. I'm going to remind you just how bad their stuff is. I would love a 500-page memoir read out on Audible by Meghan Markle, because if it's anything like this, Harry's memoir, Jesus, I can't wait.
Chapter 65. Doria was staying with us, waiting for the baby to come. Neither she nor Meg ever strayed far. None of us did. We all just sat around waiting, going for the occasional walk, looking at the cows. When Meg was a week past her due date, the comms team and the palace began pressuring me. When's the baby coming? The press can't wait forever, you know. Oh, the press is getting frustrated. Heaven forbid.
And that conversation never took place. What Harry just said is so ridiculous that I'm going to almost overlook the fact that he pronounced frustrated. Frustrated?
Oh, the press is getting frustrated. Heaven forbid.
Oh, the press are getting frustrated. Heaven forbid. Let's just put to one side for a second Harry's borderline personality accent problem, right? And focus on what he's actually trying to get the reader to believe, or the listener in my stupid case. Comms team at the palace, that's the communication team, I guess, you know, the people who are responsible for press communication, I guess. They were angry that his wife hadn't given birth. The press can't wait forever. Bollocks! Bollocks, 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 that didn't happen, bollocks.
Meg's doctor had tried several homeopathic ways to get things moving.
Several homeopathic ways to get things moving. Tell me you're from Hollywood without telling me you're from Hollywood. Several homeopathic remedies, eh? We tried 1 part oyster shell in 50,000 parts water, 2 parts bull's penis in 150,000 parts water. Nothing worked.
But our little visitor was just intent on staying put.
Yeah, I imagine he would be.
I don't remember if we ever tried Granny's suggestion of a bumpy car ride.
The kid's, he's lucky to be alive, isn't he?
Finally, we said, let's just go and make sure nothing's wrong. And let's be prepared in case the doctor says it's time. We got into a nondescript people carrier and crept away from Frogmore without alerting any of the journalists stationed at the gates. It was the last sort of vehicle they suspected we'd be riding in.
Oh, it's a people carrier coming out of the grounds of the palace. Inconspicuous. What do you normally go out on? A magnificent white stallion. Normally I would be carried out of the grounds in a litter, but since Meg's pregnancy, the manservants had refused to carry us, complaining that the yoke was hurting their shoulders.
A short time later, we arrived at Portland Hospital and were spirited into a secret lift, then into a private room. Our doctor walked in, talked it through with us, and said it was time to induce. Meg was so calm. I was calm too, but I saw two ways of enhancing my calm. One, Nando's chicken, brought by our bodyguards.
Right, so now, for those of you who are parents and have been through this process yourself, I'm sure we can all identify, right? We get driven from the palace in a people carrier, like a bloody commoner, right, to the private hospital where they take you into a private lift where your private personal doctor, your personal physician comes to you and says, "You're all okay, everything's fine, we're going to induce it, it'll be, and then you need to feel more calm. And so what do? There's only one thing that'll make you feel more calm. Get your bodyguards to bring you Nando's chicken. Or what? What was the other option?
2, a canister of laughing gas beside Meg's bed.
Yes, the free drugs that they leave out for you at the hospital.
I took several slow, penetrating hits.
That's what she said. Hey, I apologise. That was off colour. I'm not proud of that.
Meg bouncing on a giant purple ball.
Bet that's not the first time she's been bouncing on purple balls. Quite a connoisseur of purple ball bouncing is old Megsy. I apologise again. It's not. It's just weak, isn't it? It's not. Yeah,
A proven way of giving nature a push, laughed, and rolled her eyes. I took several more hits, and now I was bouncing too. When her contractions began to quicken and deepen, a nurse came and tried to give some laughing gas to Meg. There was none left.
Either this didn't happen, or he downed a canister. How big is a canister? Was it almost empty? All the laughing gas. He took all the laughing gas.
The nurse looked at the tank, looked at me, and I could see the thoughts slowly dawning. Gracious, the husband's had it all.
Oh, you've got away with people. You're so insightful, Harry. Yes, that's what the nurse was thinking. As Prince Harry was stoned out of his mind while his wife was giving birth. He's down in the fucking laughing gas. She's not thinking, oh, gracious, the husband, he's had it all. No, she's thinking, Harry is battered.
How many of us feel battered?
Sorry, I said meekly. Meg laughed. The nurse had to laugh and quickly changed the canister. Meg climbed into a bath. I turned on soothing music, Deva Premal.
I want you to bear in mind here that what is being described to you is the birth of his child, right? A very stressful event that most people have to go through, right? But his way of experiencing it was the private lift, the bodyguards bringing in the Nando's chicken, the laughing gas on tap, playing his favourite music in the room with his private physician. They were both pretty happy, everything was fine, the birth was getting induced, it was all going swimmingly. He'll make it into one of the darkest episodes of the 21st century, just watch.
She remixed Sanskrit mantras into soulful hymns. Premal claimed she heard her first mantra in the womb.
Prince Harry says that he put some Sanskrit mantras that have been remixed into soulful hymns on for Meghan, which, by the way, if that's the music she wanted to soothe her in the birth of her first child, tell me you were born in the ghetto without telling me you were born in the ghetto, Meghan. But yeah, he says that's what he put on. I don't know. He was all gassed up. He was probably there trying to evoke the seal opera again. Oh!
In our overnight bag, we had the same electric candles I'd arranged in the garden the night I proposed. Now, I placed them around the hospital room. I also set a framed photo of my mother on a little table.
Oh, that's not creepy at all. Setting up candles all over the room with pictures of your dead mother. Then I got out a Ouija board. It's the birth of your child, Harold, not an exorcism.
Meg's idea.
I'm not exactly sure why or how. It's creepier that it was Meg's idea, but the fact that she decided to put candles everywhere and pictures of her husband's dead mother in the room while giving birth.
Time passed. Hour melted into hour. Minimal dilation. Meg was doing a lot of deep breathing for pain. Then the deep breathing stopped working. She was in so much pain that she needed an epidural.
Now, obviously I'm a man, and you don't want my opinions, do you, ladies, right, about giving birth? But here they go all the same. Don't most women have epidurals? Isn't it very painful, childbirth, without an epidural? I guess it's probably harder to push with the epidural. I've had epidural a couple of times. I operated my meniscus and my varicose veins about a month ago. So, am I saying that I could get through childbirth? I think I could. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Epidural, is it that mad to have an epidural in childbirth so that you don't feel pain? Don't most women do that?
The anaesthetist hurried in.
We definitely had to practice that word a few times. The anaesthetist had to rush in.
The anaesthetist hurried in. Off went the music. On went the lights. Whoa! Vibe change. He gave her an injection at the base of her spine.
I immediately went into fight or flight response, believing he was trying to put her down like a lame horse. No! You've been sent here by GB News, I said. I waved my flaccid todger angrily in his face.
Still, the pain didn't let up. The medicine apparently wasn't getting where it needed to go. He came back. Did it again. Now things both quietened and accelerated. Her doctor came back 2 hours later, slipped both hands into a pair of rubber gloves.
I immediately removed my underwear, believing that a cavity search was probably just a standard procedure in hospitals nowadays.
This is it, everybody. I stationed myself at the head of the bed.
And positioned my anus for all to see.
Holding Meg's hand, encouraging her. Push, my love. Breathe.
Holding her hand in one hand, the Nando's chicken in the other, high as a retarded kite. Push, my love. Push.
I said to Meg, my love, I need you to push. I didn't tell her why. I didn't tell her about the cord. Didn't tell her about the likelihood of an emergency C-section. I just said, give me everything you've got. And she did. I saw the little face, the tiny neck and chest and arms, wriggling, writhing. Life. Life. Amazing. I thought, wow, it really all begins with a struggle for freedom.
Oh, it really does all start with a struggle for freedom, doesn't it, Harry? I see the analogy you're trying to make there, Harry. You're trying to say that your struggle for freedom is like that of a newborn baby's struggling to burst out of its mother's womb, exposing itself to all the cold and dangers, potential predators, you know, which is essential for life. You have to expose yourself, otherwise you die, right? I think that's, to a degree, that's true all the way through your life. But that's not the same as your struggle for freedom, Harry. You know, your struggle for freedom, you're basically trying to get out of all of your ribbon cutting duties with you and your wife as member of the royal family. That's not the same. That's not the same at all. What you did is the opposite. You're seeking more comfort. You're wallowing in self-pity and trying to sell it at a premium. And that's what you've been doing for the last few years. You're not exposing yourself to more dangers and challenging yourself. You're trying to get as much money as you can, doing as little as you can. Right? You've spent the best part of a decade trying to crawl back up your mother's vagina.
A nurse swept the baby into a towel and placed him on Meg's chest. We both cried to see him, meet him. A healthy little boy, and he was here.
Way to go to gender your child there, Harry, eh? Bigot. But anyway, there are two reasons, Harry, I think you should be careful about calling Archie a him. Right? First of all, there's the Archwell Foundation that have teamed up with the Global Boyhood Initiative. And they wouldn't be very pleased, would they, to know that you're just calling him willy-nilly him, right? Just because he's got a penis, okay? But then the other reason you should be careful about calling Archie him is because, you know, he could be a valuable asset at some point in the near future, right? When the money's all run out from all your memoirs, maybe you can, I don't know, make a Netflix show about your trans biracial child. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm sure there's people at Penguin Random House who can shoehorn that into one of their projects. The Nelson Mandela Foundation. Someone will be up for that. Someone will take that project and they'll run with it.
Within 2 hours of our son being born, we were back at Frogmore. The sun had risen, and we were behind closed doors before the official announcement was released, saying Meg had gone into labour. I had a tiff with Sarah about that. You know she's not in labour anymore, I said. She explained that the press must be given the dramatic, suspenseful story they demanded. But it's not true, I said. Truth didn't matter.
Oh, that must have been pretty traumatizing, you know, because when my kids were born, I just told the press, look, they've been born. My wife's not in labour anymore, so don't get your fucking hopes up. There's going to be no drama. They're here now, okay? And I could just do that because I don't have handlers like the royal family, like Harold and his wife. It must be a bloody pain, that, really.
After a few hours, I was standing outside the stables at Windsor, telling the world, it's a boy. Days later, we announced the name to the world, Archie. The papers were incensed. They said we'd pulled a fast one on them. Indeed, we had. They felt that in doing so, we'd been bad partners. Astonishing. Did they still think of us as partners? Did they really expect special consideration, preferential treatment, given how they treated us these last 3 years? And then they showed the world what kind of partners they really were. A BBC radio presenter posted a photo on his social media, a man and a woman holding hands, with a chimpanzee. The caption read, Royal baby leaves hospital.
First of all, the caption read, Royal baby leaves hospital, right? Not hospital, you dwad, right? Okay? It's hospital. Hospital. You're English, you idiot. Anyway, I'm over that. So let's get to the point that he's trying to make. He's trying to make the point that this was racism. It wasn't. It was Danny Baker. He was like a really nice, happy-go-lucky radio presenter in England, for those of you who don't know him, he just thought it'd be a funny joke. Like a couple holding hands with a chimpanzee, and you go, oh, look, the royal baby. And then immediately realised, oh shit, I'd forgotten that Meghan is black-ish. Oh, what did I do? And immediately, he didn't know, he didn't associate with, he obviously didn't do it because of racism. It's so obvious to everyone that he wasn't doing it for that reason. He immediately apologised, and can you imagine? Oh, God damn it. This happened, by the way, a couple of years ago with, I can't remember who the reporter was. There's an English footballer called Ross Barkley, who is a quarter black. I had literally no idea. He doesn't look at all black. And somebody said he was like a gorilla playing. Somebody said, I think something about him being lethargic on the pictures. I mean, he's just sort of like moping around like a gorilla. There was no intent, right? I think, for fuck's sake, people who fucking play the victim like that, it just does my head in. And it must. They're not the victims of genuine, real racism get so fucked off when they see stuff like that. Like, someone clearly, Danny Baker's wasn't trying to be racist there, and Harry knows that. He's just a lying piece of grifting shit, right? He knows that. Everyone who got incensed with the Ross Barkley incident knows there was no intent, right? It just completely undermines any It just devalues people's experience of genuine discrimination when you've got attention-seeking narcissists constantly fucking sucking the life out of the world with their attentions, sucking all the fucking air out of the room. Right. Piss off. I'll see you in the next one.